Welcome to another edition of the most consistent, prolific, and dedicated uploads in YouTube history. This is Sean's View Entertainment right here on YouTube.com. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. So, you may have read the reports this morning according to PW Insider. Vince McMahon and Triple H, their feelings and how they handle us, the wrestling fans, the internet wrestling community, the YWC, the IWC, whichever you want to reference. Now, according to PWInsider.com, Triple H is said to be very open to the idea of referencing the IWC and its fans on TV through creative in the way that angles are booked. Whereas Vince McMahon's MO has always been to ignore the internet. Here's the thing. Sometimes when you listen to the internet, you're going to get a lot of good things. You're going to get a lot of great ideas. But sometimes if you listen to the internet, it has its good and its bad. There's a gray area there because there are a lot of fans that come up with horrible things. They say the worst of things, the worst of strategy. Now, we always bash creative. Now, I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm just saying that not everybody has the most compelling or fresh ideas. You have to agree that even though a lot of people may be against Vince McMahon and feel that he is out of touch and out of tune, the fact is Vince McMahon is one of the hardest working individuals in the entire world. That man does not believe in sleep. He does not believe in a day off. And when you take a man like that, like Vince McMahon, who had a vision to make WWE this big global conglomerate, which is what he's done. You have to credit Vince McMahon for what he has done and for what Vince McMahon has accomplished. But when you're talking about the future, when you're talking about the capacity, when you're talking about the lineage of WWE and preserving it, look no further than Triple H. Triple H, a man that always does what's best for business. He always will do what's best for business because it's best for the people. Daniel Bryan's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Creative is coming up with some pretty damn good storylines. NXT superstars are being called up to the main roster. Triple H is making sure that superstars don't get called up to the main roster unless they have a storyline and a gimmick, as so they don't get lost in the shuffle. Now, yes, guys like Dolph Ziggler and Wade Barrett, sometimes they get lost in the shuffle, sometimes they get pushed aside, but they always get utilized, and that's the thing. Vince McMahon gets a lot of hate. He gets a lot of criticism because of the ideas that he presents, and sometimes it's crazy. Sometimes it's, a little off booking. Sometimes it's not the best. It's not the Vince McMahon that you remember, but this man is working as hard as he can because, all these ideas and all these plots and all these storylines, it still has to go through the yes man. It still has to go through Vince McMahon. It has to be confirmed by him. It always has to go by Vince McMahon either way you look at it. And while Vince McMahon is in charge of the ship, I like to think that Triple H is the one steering the ship and making sure that it's going in the right direction. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm looking for right now is your comments and your opinions. And you know what? Vince McMahon wants to ignore the internet. Maybe that's a good thing for him to do. Maybe that puts more stress on him. Maybe he doesn't want to see what's being said. Maybe he doesn't want to see the bad things. Maybe he doesn't want to see the negative things. He's in his own bubble. But Triple H is more open. Triple H is younger. Triple H is fresher. Triple H is a breath of fresh air, so to speak. Not to repeat myself a million times during this video, but really, at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is preserving the company, looking to refresh the WWE, heading in a new era. And I think we are seeing the wheels turn for that new era to take place. And it's not like Vince McMahon is, talking down or looking down on the IWC, because the WWE realizes, Vince McMahon realizes that it's the fans that take charge. It is the fans that have maintained and made sure that the WWE is where it's at today, because without the paying customer, you have nothing. And Vince McMahon and Triple H are very consistent. They're very prolific, kind of like me. They want to make sure that, things are in check. They want to make sure, the right things are in place. And you can't fault that for them. You can't fault them for that. So, you know what? Vince McMahon, when he's always called upon, he's always there to make the right call. You may not agree with some of his calls. I may not even agree with them, but you have to have a tremendous amount of respect for that man's passion and his drive and his commitment. And with Triple H's loyalty, the thing about Triple H is he's a WWE fan. This man is a fan at heart. So, you know what? It's always good to have somebody that knows a lot about the business and that was a fan growing up, wanting to see the WWE succeed, wanting to see what was best for business. And Triple H will always do what's best for the WWE. He will always put that right hand forward. He will always put that right foot forward. And he will always step up when needed. Just like Vince McMahon stepped up in the Attitude Era and saw that he needed to change things, saw that he needed to go in another direction. Your comments, your opinions,